When it comes to using data, we want to put data to productive use. And I think it's really useful to recognize that there are fundamentally different ways that we can do that. As a matter of fact, I think there are three and only three ways that data gets put to use in an organization. And it's really useful to actually think about and be really clear on which of those uses is actually being put in play at any given time. The first is measuring performance or performance measurement. That is nothing more than saying, where are we today? How are we performing today in objective and concise terms relative to our expectations at some point in the past? When we launched this campaign or launched this new feature or launched this new design of, or launched a new advertising channel, what were our expectations and how are we lining up to that? In an objective and a concise way. It's the world of key performance indicators. It really, to me, is the most useful way to use a dashboard, just as a simple single screen at a glance. How are we performing? Not particularly sexy, but enormously valuable to figure out what those measures are and what those expectations are, and then use those to say everyone's on the same page. Are we exceeding our expectations? Are we at our expectations? Or are we underperforming? That can then lead to a second way that we use data, and that is to validate hypotheses. Hypothesis validation is about reducing uncertainty. We want to make decisions and take actions going forward, and how do we reduce that uncertainty? There are tons of different techniques for validating hypotheses, and there are lots of criteria to go into. Should this be an experiment? Should this be an A/B test? Can I do this with historical data analysis? Do I need to field some research to gather some new information? Lots of ways to validate hypotheses, but those grounding them in a hypothesis and then figuring out what data is needed to do the validation, really, really valuable. And then the third way that we can use data is when it's actually part of an operational process. If I place an order on an e-commerce website, in order for the shoes that I ordered to wind up getting delivered to me and money taken out of my bank account to pay for them, a lot of data has to flow around. So data is part of an operational process. It's actually interesting. AI tends to fit in that third bucket in my mind. When we're rolling out AI, it is data actually being used within part of a process, whether it's human on the loop or human in the loop or what have you. They all sort of play together. If we're rolling out AI, hopefully we are clearly and objectively measuring the performance. Are we getting the results from that, whatever we rolled out, as we expected? Before we rolled it out, hopefully we had a clear hypothesis about why we thought this AI application would actually deliver value. And hopefully we thought through how we would validate that that value would be delivered. So that's really it. Just those three buckets: performance measurement, hypothesis validation, and enabling operational processes.